council meeting to order. Please stand for a pledge of the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Duff.
Here.
Dumont.
Here.
Pearmeeting.
Here.
Mallett.
Here.
McNutt.
Here.
Nedrow.
Here.
O'Brien.
Here.
Since we had an election last night, I wonder if our administrator could fill us in on the results.
Is that going to be under addition to new business?
Well, I just thought we'd throw it in there before additions.
Yeah, the good news is I think everybody knows we had 5 good people running for 4 council seats. The bad news is when you have that means that someone has to be on the short end. So having said that, the vote totals from last night for anybody that didn't stay up to watch the late posting on the Oakland County Clerk's website or hasn't looked today, Pam Kazanecki had 925 votes, Bill O'Brien 913 votes, Mark Duff 896 votes, Dave Dumont 787 votes, and Bob Malik 785 votes.
Okay, thank you. Additions to business.
Mr. President, we do have one under the item 10A, the recommendations from our engineer. I'd like to include the pay recommendation for the cement work on Wolverine
Make
Drive.
that 10B?
Or it could fall under 10A.
10A even?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Motion to approve additions to business as presented.
And the agenda?
Second.
Motion by Duff, I'll give that to Malik. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Correspondence, we've had a couple letters. One from, a couple, I think, from Mr. Daly. We had one from Comcast and Hospitality House and Haven. Oakland County Parks News Release. So, that motion is received and filed.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont.
And then also, Mr. President, we had a letter from Fred Friendo on behalf of the Nantucket Homeowners Association.
Okay. Yep. With that, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries on that. This first call to the public for opportunity for citizens to address council on agenda items only. So if anybody'd like to, a motion open.
Motion open.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Malik. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Yes, sir. You can
All right.
state your name and address and
Tom Pollard, 2348 Ventura. I just want to make a few comments about Agenda Item D, sanitary sewer easement on the agenda tonight.
okay.
First of all, just a few comments, not talk about any of the facts in the case, but just general disappointment that there's one homeowner impacted by that decision, and he's not able to be here today. So with the late notice, he was already out of town, and apparently his request to defer the discussion to another meeting wasn't given any weight, so here we are, and he's not able to be here. So with more advance notice, or last time it was discussed in a closed session, if it was in an open session, he might have known that this was going to be on the agenda, could have made other plans. Second point that I just want to make, the proposed corrective action is putting a burden on one individual, one homeowner, that did nothing wrong in the whole process. Would you want that to happen to your property? Mr. Daly talked to several homeowners on the street, both sides, and all the homeowners understood his issue and said, you know, the village should be moving the sewer. So I'm not sure who's at fault in this whole thing, but I think the council is prioritizing protecting contractors or the village engineer instead of protecting taxpaying homeowners. And I think that's wrong priority. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Burndorf.
Hi, my name is William Burndorf. I live at 264 Angola Street in Wolverine Lake, and I'm here to just talk about item D, sanitary sewer easement for Mr. Tom Daly. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for 30 years. He's lived on the lake for 30 years. He's part of the community, as I am, and as we all are. And I've been listening to Tom for the past 4 years about the challenges that he's been having with the village about this sewer, I guess it's an access point that is on his property. And it's been determined that it's on his property, and now I'm being told that the village is going to look to condemn that property where that sanitary sewer access point is and pay somewhere in the neighborhood of $530-something, I believe it is, to vacate that land. And I just think that's a really shallow and wrong approach to this. I think that the village council needs to really look into this and see what happened. This really does create a burden for one of our community residents when you think about it, because this access point, he can't build a driveway. He can't sell his property to somebody who wants to build a bigger home with a 25-foot setback and be affected by that sewer line. And aside from that, if there's any work that has to be done on that, they have to tear up the rest of his property. There's no written document that says that he or anybody prior to him living there gave the village or the contractors any permission to build that on his property. So mistakes happen, people make mistakes, we all do, and there should be no blame to anybody, but the village really should step up and either have that moved or work out something between the two of you that is agreeable. I mean, this village council is elected by the people, for the people, and I would wonder and think, if this was your property, how would you feel and how would you react? If you let this happen, it'll happen again and again and again, and it should be addressed in the proper way. I'm told that all of the correspondence that Tom has sent into this village has never been brought to the public. There's been discussions that take place behind closed doors. For that reason, there's no understanding why. It should be a public problem, issue, whatever the right word is. And I really believe that this village needs to take a look at that. We depend on you. We depend on this council for so many things. And you run for these offices and this office to help the community. And residents are part of that community and should be addressed. So that's my take on it, and I would really hope that you would consider looking at this further before making any final decisions. And maybe table this until next month when Mr. Daly can be here to speak for himself. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Joe D'Angela, 1311 Glen-Geary. I talked to you at the corn roast. I've got 4 dead pine trees on my property. One is fallen, the 5th one was fallen a couple years ago. I had to cut it up myself. These pine trees are dead. I was told they were planted right on the property line by the guy that planted the trees. All right, I'm on Glen-Geary and Brisbane. All right. The one nearest the corner is intertwined with the power lines or the whatever lines, telephone line. I don't think it's power lines. I think the power line's in the back. Do I have to cut them down, or is the village going to cut them down? I was told if Andy doesn't want to do it, he ain't going to do it anyways. But I mean, do I got to pay it out of my pocket to cut these trees down? Because they're going to fall. because they're basically, they're rotten, and I don't know how they're standing now, but one's gonna go down, and it's gonna take all kinds of power lines down with it. Now, is the village, you told me in the summertime that they were going through and they were gonna cut down some trees.
We did do looking at some trees on Glengarry, right?
We took down
They had some
some,
assessments.
yeah, further down to the west on Glengarry, yes.
I mean, these are dead pine trees. I don't know, they got a blight or something, but they're dead. And it's only a matter of time till they fall. And I think within the next year, I think they're gonna fall. And I could sit here and sit on it, and then it'll take out all them power lines out. But, you know, if you got the crew, why not you, because it's on, I was told it's right on the property line by the guy that planted the trees.
Well, I guess that'd be something you have to verify.
Yeah. Joe, you mentioned Eddie Stone. Has he been out to look at the trees? Do you know?
I work all the time. I don't know if he's been there to look at the trees. Somebody told me he's gonna mark the trees. I don't see any marks on the trees.
Well, let me ask you the question a different way then. Did you talk to Andy, or did you leave him a message and ask him to come out and look at the trees?
No,
I'm just asking, that's all.
I talked to Brian at the corn roast.
Right.
And he said he would talk to the people that needed to be talked to. So I didn't follow up. So I come to this meeting to find out what the hell's going on. I mean,
I know that at that point, we were looking at we were marking some trees on Glengarry.
you were saying you were marking trees,
Yeah,
and I didn't have any.
Order. This is supposed to be for agenda items only.
yeah, that's true.
This is not an agenda item.
Probably true.
Sorry, but it's not.
What's that?
It's not an agenda item. This is for
Probably should have been
agenda
second call to the public.
Second call to the public.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
I didn't know I was wrong. I don't go to these meetings. I just stir up trouble.
Joe, so you were at 1311 Glengarry? Is that right?
1311 Glengarry. I'm right
Right
at
on
the
the
corner of Brisbane and Glengarry.
Okay.
And if you drive there, you can look. They're dead pine trees.
Okay. We'll have the DPW come out and look at the trees. So,
Okay, do I need to come make a second call?
I
or-
think you're fine on the second call already.
I'm
Yeah,
good?
We'll be fine.
So I can go home, because I get up at 4 o'clock in the
You're
morning.
all set, Joe.
Mr. President,
Hey.
I have a question. If we're going to address
All right,
this,
thank you.
I think we need to know, is there a survey to know where these trees are?
Well, I think that's probably what
My dad.
Does he
We're
have
gonna
a
talk to Andy
survey, or
about.
do we have a survey? Are they our trees or his trees?
well, that's, really, when the DPW goes out, they look for a couple different things. Number one, they look at the condition of the tree, but they also try to figure out where the tree is in relation to the road and the road right away, as to whether or not the tree
Well, like I
belongs
say,
to us
I don't know. They
or belongs to
could
our
be very well.
Motion to close to the public?
Second.
Motion by Dumont, second by Duff to close the public. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries on it. Okay. So
But
now we're
again,
closed.
my point being, so we really know, are they his or are they ours?
We were going to have a tree assessment, right? That was one of the things that we were looking at doing.
Well, I've spoken with an arborist
Arborist,
about
yeah.
having an assessment done. We're waiting for a decision from the state DNR now on a grant that would help fund the inspection. Now, the inspection wouldn't be until the spring anyway,
Right.
but we'll get somebody to take a look at those trees before that, absolutely. So,
Okay. Moving on. Approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Jeremy?
Yes.
McNutt?
yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Pedro?
Yes.
Dumont?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Malley?
Yes.
Okay. Board appointments. Recommendation, council appoint Robert Jankowski to the Water Management Board for a term expiring 12/31 of 2025.
Motion.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont, was it? Any discussion on that?
Member of the water board for another meeting anyway. And Robert has done a good, exceptional job. He does work with the board, and he gets involved with things with the community. He's been reaching out on different things that have come up in conversation. So it's recommended that we do appoint him. The board recommends that.
Yep, agreed. And I know Rob too, and he does do a nice job on that board. So. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries on that. Second item is recommendation council appoint Melissa Harris to the Water Management Board for a term expiring 12/31 of '25.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Malik.
Again,
Discussion on that.
I'm on the water board. She happens to live in our the subdivision I'm in, and she lives on the next street over. And with her education and stuff was presented, I believe, back in here. She can possibly bring a lot to the board, and it's highly recommended, and it's a new face getting involved, so.
Anything else to add? With that, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries on that. Third item is recommendation to council to reappoint Paul Snyder to the Planning Commission for a term expiring 12/31 of 2025.
Motion.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. And I can speak to that. Paul's been on planning here probably for 3, 4 years, and he's done a nice job. And he's also our planning liaison on the Water Management Board, so. With that, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries on that one. And one more from planning is to appoint Kathy Moretto, Planning Commission liaison on ZBA, and Paul Snyder, planning liaison to Water Management Board.
Motion.
For 2023. Motion by Duff, second by Malik. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries there. Okay. Recommendations and updates from Engineer Powell, and Mike's gone. He's probably out of the country yet.
Yes.
So we got Julia here. Yep, that mic is live.
You
I
have to
guess you
turn
have to
it
flip
on.
it on. There you go. Yep, should be good.
Yes, so the addition was to pay Street for their work at 582 Wolverine Drive, and that was to repair a drainage issue that was exacerbated during the road paving.
This is one of the drainage issues that Mike's been talking about for quite some time. Trying to get finally straightened out. And with the road paving program, it made sense to get that straightened out.
Correct.
And I believe, from what you were saying, Dave, that the homeowner was looking to repave their driveway at the same time, so we were going to pave the approach, the village portion of that, and then the homeowner was picking up the balance of that.
Correct, yeah. We were gonna pay to have to correct the drainage issue, basically, and the balance of the driveway, which the homeowner wanted to replace.
Correct. There
would
was
be his expense.
an agreement where the village paid partial and the homeowner paid partial to fix that issue.
So with that was
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we pay Extreme Concrete for the sum of $3,240.
a motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Ledra?
Yes.
Dumont?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes. Anything else?
Just a few other things. The Marchar water main extension is going in.
Good.
And it's been moving along nicely. And the road striping had to be postponed a little due to the leaves on the road, but they're aware and ready to go when conditions
The
are...
parking lot was striped Sunday because I drove over it.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
they were able to stripe some crosswalks in the village area without leaves.
I drove over it on the way in. He caught me on the way out, and I was okay. So.
So is the
He
blue- that's the
restriped
blue
it.
paint on your
No,
tires?
yeah, it's probably on my pontoon boat tires. Okay, well, thank you, Julia. We have no public hearings, so we'll move on to 12A, under new business, Parks and recommends council to resignation of Mitchell Toronto from Parks and Rec Board.
Motion.
Second. So motion by Duff, second by Alec. Any discussion on that? I know Mitch was like on 3 or 4 boards.
Mitch got a little stretched and with work and everything too. He put in a good shift on Parks and Rec. Did the fishing contest 2 years in a row, so We're appreciative of all his work, and sorry to see him go.
Yep. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on that. Parks and Rec also recommends that we release budgeted funds for the winter holiday decorating contest not to exceed $200.
Motion.
Motion by Duff.
Second.
Second by Dumont. Any discussion on that? Roll call vote, please.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Pedro?
Yes.
Dumont? Yes.
Yes.
Duff? Mallett?
Yes.
Girarmini?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
And finally, from Parks and Rec, to release budgeted funds for Snacks with Santa.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont.
I have a question there. What is the amount?
$1,200.
Is that what we've done in the past?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Pedro?
Yes.
Dumont? Yes.
Yes.
Duff? Mallett?
Yes.
Girarmini?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Okay, item B, Water Management Board recommendations to renew the contract from Progressive A&E for lake management for 2023. So that's be a one-year contract, huh?
Well, if I could offer some explanation on this. The current contract that we have with Progressive A&E for their lake consulting does expire at the end of this year. Paul Hausler, who's the principal at our main point of contact at Progressive, reached out to me and asked if I wanted him to go ahead and submit a proposed contract, another 2-year contract. That's the tail end of what we're on right now. What I indicated to Paul was I was interested in getting some input or feedback from the Water Management Board before I made any decision on that. So the issue was on the Water Management Board agenda. I let Ryan Martini know ahead of time what I was looking for. Bob, I'm not going to speak for the Water Management Board. I think there was some discussion about whether or not the village would want to go out to bid for
Well,
services at this point, or if we wanted...
By past bids, we always found them to be the most competitive, and being the person I am, I said to him, if you give us 10% discount, we'll renew you right away. But he didn't jump at it at that point. But no, they've been good.
They've done a good
They've
job.
addressed things, they give you the reports, they come out to do the studies, and the board felt, they were the ones again. Again, I don't know what our rule is, if we need to go out and get the additional bids or not. But I believe by their track record, they're good to go. And we felt, the board felt that they were good to go.
Yeah, I don't think this is something that would require us to go out to bid. I would consider this to be a professional service. Yeah. In my thinking, when I talked to Paul, was that we probably would not, but again, I wanted to get input from the Water Management Board. So that's really what I was looking for with this agenda item tonight, is just direction. Paul hasn't actually submitted a contract to me. He's got one ready to go.
Is it going to be more than 1 year?
It would be for 2 years,
Okay,
which
2
is
years.
what we have right now.
Okay.
And so if that's the direction that council wants to go, then I'll let him know, and he can send the contract over, and we could potentially even have it on our next agenda in December. If not December, then I would think probably January at the latest. So.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, if I remember right, there's only maybe one other company that's even capable of being a rep.
Well, we had a couple, yeah.
There was a couple,
There
but
was
they
a couple
were
that-
much more costly.
Yeah, they were, the other two.
I remember
were
going out
costly.
for bids, and we didn't have any luck.
Maybe one time we did, but
Yeah.
I know.
But it wasn't more cost effective.
No.
The last time around, we did
Last time
additional
around,
bids.
there was 2 others that were quite a bit
Yep.
higher. And Progressive done a good job, and they have a lot of history with us.
Yep.
So,
And, you can ask him questions, and if he doesn't have the answers, he pursues it and forwards information on. So, and I think that's what we're looking for. This lake is not, I hate to say it this way, there's not a savior for it, okay? All we're doing is fighting the situation.
prolonging
With
it.
and they were the best ones to do the job.
From the administration standpoint, I think we've been happy with what we've gotten from Progressive A&E, and from my perspective anyway, if nothing else, based upon the number of complaints or the lack of complaints, this year, I think the quality of the lake water was probably better this year than it has as probably the 10 years that we've lived in the village. So,
Okay, so I think you have direction on that. I don't think we really have a motion.
Consensus.
Huh?
There's no
I don't
motion
think
to
we
make.
really have to have a motion.
no, I'm just looking for direction more than anything else.
I think that's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. See, beautification committee recommends to release budgeted funds for holiday decorations at Village Hall and electronic signs not to exceed $200.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Any discussion on that? And I think they have enough money in their budget to be able to do that.
They do.
Okay, good deal. Roll call vote, please.
Dumont?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Nedra?
Yes. Okay, item D, which what everybody's here for, I guess, probably. I know Mr. Daly did send an email out.
That's correct. I notified him by email late on Friday afternoon after tonight's agenda had been finalized that this item was going to be on the agenda. And I sent him the cover memo and then the resolution that had been prepared by Ms. Olowski's office. Mr. Daly sent me an email. It was on Saturday morning. I saw it when I got into the office on Monday, indicating that he was out of the country, that he had been out of the country, wouldn't be back until, I believe it was November 18th, and asking if this could be put over. I responded to him that because it was already basically part of the posted agenda, that it wasn't something I had the authority to set over, that council would have to make that decision tonight. From my perspective, I don't see a downside if council wants to do that. The sewer is in the ground, as the comments have been. There's really no downside. At the same time, if the council wants to go ahead and move forward, this is just the next step in the process, if you will. But it's really council's decision.
I'd like to make a motion to move forward.
I'll second
You
that.
know, okay, we up for discussion now?
Yep.
Yeah, motion by Malik, second by Duff to move forward
Okay,
process, I guess.
the gentleman bought the property, the sewer was in, okay? It wasn't like we waltzed up and dug a hole and put it in. Plus, one of the comments earlier, you know, there's driveways, there's streets, parking lots that have sewers in them. So there's nothing to say that he can't do a driveway if that's the case or whatever. I mean, this is nothing new in the field for engineering and things, okay? So the problem, I don't see a problem there, okay? You know, and you're talking about something that was existing when he bought the property. You know, we didn't jump up and dig a hole and put a cap on it or whatever the case. You know, we've gone back and forth. On my weekly agenda from the administrator, I keep seeing letters and comments and didn't do this. You know, we're always the bad guy. Well, we're not the bad guy in this situation. We did something to improve the community, and unfortunately, it's a sore spot with the person that lives there. But I just can't see postponing it any farther.
Okay. Anybody else's comment?
I think it makes sense to postpone it, allow him whatever opportunity he needs to come to council in December, say his piece, be able to present himself to us. It may not change the outcome in any way, but at least then he can feel as though he was able to represent himself and have the opportunity to address us when we were actually making the decision to condemn that section of property.
Anybody else?
I agree with Mark. I think just postponing for face value while him represent himself when they have the opportunity.
Okay. Anybody else? Seeing none, I guess we'll call a vote. Let's do the roll call.
Duff?
Yes.
Malik?
Yes.
Jeremini?
No.
McNutt?
No.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Nedra?
No.
Dumont?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. 4-3, right?
So from a procedural standpoint, now that you have approved the resolution of necessity of taking, then the administration can move forward with a good faith offer, which is the first step in condemnation proceedings.
Okay.
I exchanged some emails with Mr. Daly this morning, and I had indicated when I will, I'll let him know tomorrow morning what it is the council decided to do.
All right. Moving on. Item E, which is Act 51 Street System Map Correction. So who wants to speak on this one?
Well, this is something that was brought to my attention by our contact at the Michigan Department of Transportation. The Act 51 map that we have on file with the state, and we've had on file with the state for several years apparently, does have an error on it. It shows a stub off of Glen Court to the south, when in fact no such stub exists. There's actually a house at that location right now. So the requirements of Act 51 and the Michigan Department of Transportation, they've asked that we formally adopt a resolution to correct the map so they can make the removal. There will be a minor adjustment in the Act 51 funding that we get through the state, but it won't be significant at all.
Make a motion to correct it, or adopt and adopt
To
it.
adopt
correct
the
it.
correction to the Act 51 map, street map?
Yeah.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Malik. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, Memorandum of Understanding for Low-Income Households Water Assistance Program.
This is a proposed resolution that would authorize the village to participate in the state's low-income housing water assistance program. To be honest, this isn't a program that I wasn't familiar with until someone from the Water Resource Commissioner's office reached out to me. In short, what this is a program that's set up using federal funds that come to the state. The state, in turn, then has an agreement with the Oakland Livingston Human Service Agency, which is based in Pontiac, to administer that money to help low-income residents pay for delinquent water and sewer bills to avoid shutoffs. So there really is no downside to the village authorizing this program. Again, it will be the Water Resource Commissioner's office and the Human Service Agency that will be doing all the legwork. We're just basically giving them the green light to set up this program for our residents.
So I guess we'll be looking for a motion to participate
Motion to participate.
in the program.
To approve the proposed resolution.
Okay.
Motion to approve the proposed resolution for the low-income household water assistance program.
Here in a second.
Second.
Okay, motion by Duff, second by Jeremy. Any discussion? If it's not, don't see a reason why not.
It could potentially benefit some of our residents.
Absolutely.
Maybe no one will take advantage of it, but if one does, then I think it's worth the time and the effort. So,
Well, I don't know, that, like, we have people in a community well. Can they get involved in that?
I mean, we don't actually shut off water for the customers that are on the
You just keep
community
adding
well.
it to their tax bill.
Correct.
Basically, I guess my thought would be, is that through Oakland County? Maybe we ought to write them a letter and ask them, what about a low-income person that has a well that needs help?
I mean, we can get additional information if you'd like, I guess.
I didn't be here, but I think, I really think it would be the proper thing to do.
Well, my thought is, if council wants to go ahead and authorize the program, if there is anyone in that situation, they can reach out to the
Oakland County?
to Oakland County, well, not Oakland County per se, but OLSHA, the Oakland Livingston Human
Right.
Service Agency, and find out. And if they're not, then we could contact the county, and maybe the county could set up some kind of a different program.
Again, I would think there are people with situations in the community that, I find, especially with the economy and things going on the way it is.
Makes sense.
You know, a well today is what, $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, depending on how far you gotta go.
Yeah, I would highly doubt they're going to take and do anything in terms of sinking the well.
Well, again, I have no idea what they'll do or can do.
I think the program basically is to help low-income residents pay the delinquent bills, to keep from having services shut off. So I think that would probably be the extent of it, as I understand it anyway.
Yeah, the wording just says over the water and wastewater bills. It doesn't say where it's coming from. Right? Doesn't say whether it's well or city water.
Or city water, yeah, there
Just says
doesn't
over
draw a
there.
distinction, so,
Right.
yeah.
Doesn't distinguish between where it's coming from.
Well, either way, I don't think it'll hurt either way.
Well, like I say, I have to ask the question
Sure.
because there are people that I would think in the community that do have, issues. So, and if somebody's on a water line, we're willing to help them out. But if they aren't, it's like, oh, well. I just don't think it's a fair situation, so.
Yeah, but according to the wording, it doesn't, that's not saying where the water's coming from, it's just unable to pay. So under that, it should be covered.
But it's still a funding thing to help,
I'm sure it's all spelled out. They reference the program policies and procedures in the Community Services Policy Manual 1405, so I'm sure there's a government reg on it that they can reference regarding that.
And Bob, to your point of someone who's maybe not able to pay the fees for service on a community well that keeps getting rolled onto their taxes, Jennifer Hansen, the treasurer, just got a bunch of information this week about all the programs that the Oakland County Treasurer's Office offers to assist people who are having issues paying their property taxes and are at risk of foreclosure. So if the resident situation got to that level and they were at risk of foreclosure because of tax bills that consisted of charges for being on the community well, I would think that the treasurer's office would be able to help with that.
well, it's important, you don't know what your neighbor's situation is all the time, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're moving along.
Is it seconded?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so we're ready. Any more discussion? Probably beat this down pretty good. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay. Next item, set public hearing for the 2023 Community Development Block Grant Funding. And that's going to be next council meeting, which will be December 14th.
That's correct. It'll allow us to submit our application for project
Next
year
year.
23
Right.
to the county in a timely fashion. And this is just to set the public hearing.
Right.
Motion to set the public hearing for the CDBG funding on December 14th, 2022.
Motion by Duff. Second. Second by Dumont. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries on that. Tiki Night fireworks for 2023 discussion. Way early this year.
Yeah, we are trying to get maybe a little bit earlier start on the discussions with Zambelli about next year's contract. I believe that Onwards and Upwards had a meeting the other night. I'm not going to speak for Mark or the committee, but as I understand, they're interested in potentially trying to match the display that we had this year. If you recall, the funding for that, the village contributed $15,000, and Onwards and Upwards, with the help of a donation earmarked for the fireworks, contributed $20,000. So I've talked to our project manager rep at Zambelli, and he's indicated that they can provide essentially the same show for the same dollar next year, if that's something we want to do. So I was interested in having some discussion at the council table at this point, and nothing specifically written in stone, because these are actually monies that will be spent from the 23-24 budget. But for purposes of our contract discussions with Zambelli, trying to get an idea as to how much council thinks it might want to spend on the fireworks next year. Historically, we had been budgeting $7,500. After there were no fireworks back in 2020 because of the pandemic, in 2021, we doubled that amount to the 15. Again, this past year, we had 7,500 earmarked. The village decided to go ahead and double that to get up to the same caliber of show that we had the year before. There were significant cost increases on Zambelli's end. So again, I guess I'm just looking for some direction from council at this point as to how much money we think we might want to be allocating next year. Then, with that information, then I think Onwards and Upwards can potentially make some decisions, and I can have some more concrete discussions, if you will, with
I
our
say
friends
budget
down
for
in
the same
Zambelli.
show, same fireworks, same dollar amount, same allocation.
On and Up is already willing to go to the 20 again, so
What was the total cost of the show?
I know.
35. The advantage of signing earlier would be the ability to have a better selection of fireworks.
And lock in the
creating,
number.
even though same size, scale of show, different show, different types of patterns in the sky and things of that nature.
Yeah, I'll make that in the form of a motion. The same.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion by Dumont, second by Duff.
We do have the budgeted funds for that amount?
We're working on that.
Well, I'm asking Jennifer.
We had budgeted for,
We would be budgeting
we would
for
be
that,
budgeting
yeah.
for that next budget season.
Yeah.
Which will be this spring.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, the money is there. It's not specifically budgeted for the fireworks at this point.
Plus, we can do switching and doing whatever we have to at the time.
Yep, she's a magician. Yes.
Sure.
Thank you.
Just chewing your button again.
I guess, roll call vote then.
Alec?
Yes.
Jermaine?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Nedra?
Yes.
Dumont?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Okay, with second call public. Anybody in the public like to speak on second call regarding anything? Open.
Motion.
Motion to open the public.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Mr. Berndorf.
Hello, William Berndorf, 264 Angola Street. I just wanted to comment on Mr. Malik's remarks about Mr. Daly's issue. I do know that when Mr. Daly finally saw the sewer cap, it was after he bought the home. He bought the home in the wintertime, and it's a grass driveway. It was covered with snow. The snow plows have a habit of pushing the snow up against that property, especially when it was vacant. It was a cottage, so he didn't know about the sewer prior to him moving in. Found out about it after. And I think that it's important to understand our residents' concerns about things and not just kind of figure out, we've been seeing all these papers for the last, 4 years, and it's just going back and forth and back and forth. This man has a concern, and you know, it's right. And I have a question for the council here. You had mentioned that there are sewers on other people's properties, right? Yeah. Any idea how many people's properties have sewers on them? Just a guess? Would you say 20, 40, 100?
I got two right across the street from me with dry wells.
Okay.
So
one
on each corner.
So does the village condemn all of those properties that have sewers on them? Do we have an answer to that? Do they condemn, like they're doing to Mr. Daly? Are they condemning, or are they condemned right now in part of the village? Those properties that have a sewer.
I guess I would say that this isn't a question and answer period.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. I'm sorry, but my point is,
It's a comment section,
if
so-
you're not condemning other sewers on the village property, why would you condemn Mr. Daly's?
Condemnation is lawful for public purpose, and water and sewer are in the top of the public purpose arena. So it's a lawful procedure.
Right, but why would you do that just to Mr. Daly's sewer and not to anybody else's
Municipal
sewer?
authority, and they have that option.
Well, I think the village needs to really think about that, because you're really pointing out one resident, one person, one family that lives with all of us. Thank you.
Mr. Berndorf, if I could, I think the reason that we're at the point of considering condemnation relative to Mr. Daly's property is because we've been unable to negotiate the terms of an easement with him. There are probably hundreds of, I would guess, of similar sewers and drains that are in the village, and in probably every one of those cases, we've been able to negotiate an easement with the property owner. In this case, we have not. So, given that the sewer is already in the ground, we essentially have two choices. We can either relocate the sewer, or we can move forward with condemnation to obtain an easement, which, as Ms. Olowski has indicated, is a lawful procedure, and council has indicated that that's the route that they want to follow at this point in time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, motion to close.
Motion to close. Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Want to forego the November 23rd work session?
Motion to forgo, sorry. Something else.
Second. You're costing me $5.
The last $5 he could have got, too. Motion by Duff, second by Dumont, to forego Mr. Malik's $5. No, to cancel the 23rd work session. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I don't believe we have any pending business.
No, that's correct.
Update from Police Chief Ellsworth.
Got ahead of me a little bit. Just a couple quick things. Thank you very much for your assistance at the packing party. It was a great success. 650 some boxes.
622 plus.
Plus, yeah. Plus we still have some.
Still have some in the pack.
Also, the officers that participated in the Pigs for Wigs. We're growing our facial hair, if they don't like $50, to Wigs for Kids. We're also collecting donations for just general donations too. So that's pretty much it. We, myself and Officer Grunwald, attended the Water Board meeting last month, and I thought that was a pretty good exchange. And I also, the day after our council meeting, pretty much left for Dallas for my Chiefs conference, and that was, I would say, a little more disappointing than the other International Chiefs Conference that I went to.
Because it was 50 or 60?
No, actually, it was 94 when I got there, but it was 48 when I left. So I brought Michigan weather to Texas. It just wasn't the educational experience. It was a smaller, and it was very crowded. And so you had to fight elbow room, standing room only for some of those sessions. So I did attend 9 sessions when I was there, but it was a little overcrowded for some of that. I did have a lot of fun, though. Next year's is in San Diego. I don't believe I'm going to put in for the grant for next year, but it might be nice. I don't know about that time. Last but not least, thank you, Mr. Malik, for your years of service, your support for the police department and myself, and the guidance to the village. And just because you're no longer here, I'm sure you're still going to show up. So I'll be sharing the microphone with you.
Well, we'll see.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
I know we will. Okay, treasurer update.
Our auditor is coming next week. On Tuesday, we're going to begin the audit procedure, and we'll be bringing that to you in the December meeting. And I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and the beautification board, they're kind of letting me be like an honorary member, and we're going to be making wreaths for all the signs the day after Thanksgiving. So keep your eye on the signs. There are going to be beautiful wreaths everywhere. We're going to put one on the Cottrell Memorial
Are you going to be doing
around
this,
the building.
doing this up here?
We're going to be doing it the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Monday after.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
Here
I
in the
work.
building. So looking forward to
I
that.
was hoping for like Friday.
And Bob, it's been a pleasure working with you.
Jennifer, with you also.
Yeah, so, and all the years that I've known you,
It's been a few.
yeah. But I do know we will be seeing you. So.
Don't count on that, folks.
Probably not for a couple months.
You get a couple month break and then you'll be back. And I just would like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Mr. Gillum.
A couple different comments. First of all, as we talked a little bit about before, we did have an election yesterday, and I just wanted to commend the residents here in the village. We don't have final figures yet from Oakland County and Commerce Township, but based upon some rough math that I did today, based upon ages and voter turnout and things like that, I'm thinking that we had maybe 67% of village residents that came and voted yesterday. I know I got in here a little bit after 7 with coffee and bagels for the election workers yesterday morning, and the line was out the door already. So, and it was steady all day long. It was tough to find a parking place out in the lot. So, again, hats off to everybody here in the village. We made our voices heard. Unfortunately, on the public transit issue, our voices weren't loud enough, or at least there weren't enough of us, because the transit millage did pass countywide by roughly 57% to 43. We'll see what the next steps are going to be. The ball is somewhat in the county's court. They've indicated that if the millage was approved, they would develop a plan, and they would reach out to all the communities in the county to make sure that we were all going to receive our fair share of benefit under the millage. But again, we'll see. I mean, if they reach out, I will be happy to sit down and hear what they have to say and provide some input, but we'll see where it goes.
So just a question regarding that millage. They're going to be collecting that in 22, correct? Tax year, this year?
It's going on the winter taxes,
Winter
yes.
tax bill.
Yes.
So that'll be going through Commerce Township then?
Commerce Township
So
will be
how
applying.
is that going to work with the village? I mean,
You will not be charged to the village.
okay,
It'll only be on your
it'll
Commerce
be on
Township
through,
bill.
well, that's what I was trying to clarify, because I wasn't sure how it was going to pan out, knowing that it was going to be, the village is going to be taking basically a $200,000 hit. It's all going to be collected through Commerce Township. Okay.
That's correct.
Really, it's our residents that are taking the
Right,
$200,000.
exactly.
Yes.
Because they're paying annually.
Through Commerce.
Just through Commerce.
Right.
Short of $200,000 in taxes that they are not paying right now.
Okay.
So,
Like I said, I just wasn't sure on which way it was going to be collected.
Well, isn't it the only hit we take technically is the funding that we get that we pass to Commerce for the existing program now, right?
No, that wasn't anything coming out of our pocket.
No, I thought the RIDE program that they have in Commerce, we took our funds and gave it to that program.
But it was,
the municipal credits that we get from the state.
Right.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But
that funding's,
Yeah, but those credits are going to dry up.
those are going to
Right.
dry up anyways.
Yeah, but that was a pass-through for us.
Right.
But you're absolutely correct, Bob. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So the election, next, just to give everybody an update where we are in terms of the leaf pickup program. Thanks to the windstorms that we had last weekend, pretty much all the leaves are down. So, I mean, that's a good thing in the sense that the second round of leaf pickup should go a lot more quickly than the first. The bad news is that the first is taking a little bit longer than we thought because there are so many leaves that are down right now. Plus, we were a couple days delayed in getting started for a variety of reasons that I explained to the council in an update last week. As of today, the DPW was working down on Shankin. They've been around remember, they work counterclockwise, starting up in the apple orchard area in the northwest corner of the village. So they've been down the west side, and again, working on Shankin. They hope to be over on Oak Island and Laguna by Friday or Monday next week at the very earliest. And then in conversations I've had with Andy Stone, keeping in mind that they're going to be a little bit short next week because hunting season starts, number one, and then number two, the week after that is a short work week because of the Thanksgiving holiday. So what we're anticipating at this point is that there will not be a break between the first round of pickup and the second round of pickup. So as soon as the guys finish with the first round, then they're just going to start right back around and go back up to Apple Orchard. But we're going to see how it goes the next couple days, and depending upon how much the guys can get done in the next couple days, then we'll have a better idea when that second round will start next week, whether it be Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll play that by ear, but we'll get an email update out to everybody once we have a better idea what the schedule is. We'll also put something on the village website too, so everybody will be informed. But again, the second round should move a lot more quickly because there aren't going to be too many leaves left. So, if anybody has any questions, we've been getting a lot of calls about the leaf pickup program. Tabitha can vouch for that. But if anybody has any questions going forward, they can feel free to reach out, and we can let them know where we stand. So, and along the same lines too, with that schedule, we do not anticipate having to extend yard waste pickup into December this year. So as it stands right now, and the way that we're planning to keep it right now is the last day of yard waste pickup will be the Monday after the Thanksgiving holiday. So it'll be Monday the 28th. So if the leaf pickup had been delayed further, we had considered it possibly having to extend in December, but we don't think we're going to have to do that. We're not going to do that. That costs us extra money, the GFL. So again, Monday, November 28th should be the last day of leaf pickup. I mentioned hunting season, firearm season starts next week. For all the hunters at the table and in the village, good luck and have a safe trip. We do have Thanksgiving coming up to everybody in the village. Happy Thanksgiving, safe and happy holiday with your families. And to echo some of the other comments, Bob, both as the village administrator and also a 10-year resident of the village, I just want to thank you for the service that you provided the village. I know you were part of the admin committee when I first came in to interview for this position, and I've appreciated your support. I appreciated your friendship, and I know we'll still be keeping in touch.
I'm knocking on the door.
Yeah, I'm sure when something's going on that you have questions about, you'll let me know.
And even when it's not.
So, yeah. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, council comments. Mark.
The decorating contest for December will be coming up soon. The flyer for that will be coming out, and expect the flyer coming out pretty soon for the Snacks with Santa. Have a new Santa this year. Our old Santa Sam retired, so looking forward to see how the new one turns out and everything.
How does
else.
Santa retire?
Yeah, you'd think, but apparently he does.
Because everybody does.
It was a great Santa, so hopefully this one will continue that trend. Bob, it's been great working with you. The thing I take away most from you is how much you care about the community and you care about your neighbors, and the number of times where you've had a neighbor and you've said, come to a meeting and tell them your issue, and it shows that, you're engaged with them and you're getting them to become engaged with council and with the village, and that stands out to me a lot as a member of council, being a part of the community as well and really reaching out to everyone, and your pride of being a member of the Village of Wolverine Lake for so many years just really stands out to me. And finally, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you have a safe and great one.
Okay. Mike?
Bob, thank you for
Been a pleasure.
everything and your commitment and service, and I hope that doesn't end here for the village, because the village has benefited from it.
Well, I can blame your in-laws. They got me involved years ago.
They did that for a lot of people. They did it for a lot of people. And congratulations to the others, and happy Thanksgiving.
No?
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Bob, it's been a pleasure working with you for the 2 years I've been on the board, and I sincerely will miss the insight that you brought to these meetings.
Well, you might hear a few.
Good.
Hey, Bob, great working with you.
Cost me.
I should have voted 2 more times.
No.
No, it's great working with you, and
thank you.
So when I got drug into this mess, probably about 10 years ago, that's what I remember, because I was coming to meetings, and there's this loud Bob's sitting next to me.
Never was shy.
Every meeting, though. And I would only come to maybe every third meeting or so, which apparently is a lot, because there's, no one here tonight. So that more people did come back then. And you were here at every meeting.
It's not
pretty much everyone.
So.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Mark?
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. For all the hunters, be safe in the woods and good luck. Bob, definitely been a pleasure working with you, getting to know you, and I look forward to the calls to the public. I'm sure you will have an opinion.
Okay, thanks everybody at the packing party. donations are down a little bit this year, and so were the amount of people that packed, but we still managed to get a lot through the door and a lot out, so that was a great event again. And thanks to the church up there for what they always provide for us. What can I say? Probably see you in April. You will, I know you'll be back. No, I really appreciate everything that you've done, and I know the village appreciates you stepping up again.
Yeah, well,
And even running again.
that me or her?
Even running again, I mean. You always do a great job, and you always bring a lot of insight, and, which is, it's great. It's one of the good things of
I don't know
being on
about
council.
insight, but, you know, it's like, I think the gentleman was a little hacked at me tonight, but like I said, we keep seeing
It'll
this.
last.
And the thing that bothered me is it's repetitive. In other words, instead of making a statement, my letter at such a date, you know, you get the whole thing every time with a new date, okay? And it's the same thing. And I'm not against him or anything else, but, and I'm defending myself here, okay? I just feel that we've tried as a community, before some of you other people were here even, to work with the man. And it just hasn't happened. So I guess the only way to do it is bring it to a head and let's find out which way we're going to go. But enough of that.
I'll give you last word.
Thank you. It's been a total pleasure. I mean, I got 45 years in a community. My family, my daughter lives here, my grandkids, and it's where I want to be, okay? And if I can't step up here, you know, I'm just another house number. And it's important, you know, we don't, like you had mentioned, David, we don't get the people showing up because of the cameras and things who used to get more way back when. But, God, if this is where you want to live, this is where you pay your taxes, this is where you got to get involved. And, you know, I don't have the answers, but I'm not ashamed to ask the questions. And, you know, some people like it, so evidently they didn't like it. But that's the way it is, you know, it's not going to change me. So, thank you all, past people that I've worked with and those in the present. It's been a total pleasure.
Thank you again. With that,
amen.
To adjourn.
I second that.
I'll let you second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.